Welcome to Fire Sale Franchise Season 2, or as I'm calling it, Fire Sale Franchise The Reboot. Now, the reboot for two reasons. One, we're rebooting the Fire Sale Franchise series with a couple of rule changes, and also whatever team we choose, we will be rebooting them. So this season we will be calling it The Reboot franchise. And there's some rule changes to look at straight away because it affects what team we're going to be choosing. Now, first of all, obviously, pretty much, we need to get out of the division. We cannot go back into the NFC South. Now, there's some tempting teams maybe in there, but, that's the obvious one. We need to get out of the division. We don't want to be playing, to at least two of the same teams again. We don't want to be using the Saints again either. And more importantly than the division, because that one's obvious, we need to get out of the conference. We played, obviously, 5-6 seasons, whatever it ended up being, always in the NFC, which means we always met the same kind of teams in the playoffs. Now, the Super Bowl, of course, was different, but we want to be in the AFC. We want to play those teams in the playoffs and things like that. We want to have as much change as possible in that regard. So for the Reboot franchise, the only teams we can choose from are the 16 AFC teams, but that, of course, is not a problem. There's plenty of good teams in there. And now let's go over a couple of other rules that will probably also have a strong impact on what team we select. So the first big rule is no repeat players. If a player played for our Fire Sale franchise on the Saints, they cannot be on our team this season. It doesn't matter if they're a free agent later on, anything like that. If we've had them on the team before, they cannot come back on the team again. And now for a huge rule change that I think makes a lot of sense. This time, we do not trade away rookies. Now, this is going to have a huge impact on what team we choose. It's going to have a huge impact on the first season, but there's plenty of good reasons for why we do this. So we're not trading away any rookies, no matter the overall. So it doesn't matter if they're a 77 overall, if they're an 80 overall, rookies are free from the Fire Sale Purge. Now, the first reason, of course, is just simple realism. You wouldn't, draft rookies to then a month later trade them away for, probably worse value than you spent on them. You wouldn't do that, and that is the main reason, just to keep the rookies. The second reason, though, which is probably more important for the series, is what I learned from the first series, is that when you take away everybody from the team, you get rid of all the rookies and all the veterans, and you bring in a bunch of, 70 rated guys, that first season is really just a throwaway season. All you're doing is playing to get to the end of the season to draft people. If you keep rookies, you're now playing for something. You're playing to develop those players. You're already watching people develop in the first season. It's no longer a throwaway season. It's an integral part of the entire series. So now we know what we're looking for. We're looking for trade value, as we always do. We're looking for just, a team in a good division. That's important. We want to have some fun games in the division. The NFC South was good for that. There's some good players, good teams, things in that division. Now we're looking, of course, also for rookies. What team drafted some good rookies in positions that we'd like to have? And it starts straight away with the Bengals, the first AFC team when we're going alphabetical order. The Bengals, we can see right there with three guys have great trade value. You can get a lot for AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, Geno Atkins. You've got trade value with the Bengals. You've also got nice rookies. Of course, John Ross at wide receiver would be very fun to use. Joe Mixon at running back. As for the negatives for the Bengals, I've got a personal complex about personally using Joe Mixon. I don't care that he's in the NFL and that he got drafted. That at the end of the day, I'm all for second chances. So I think it's fair enough he's in the NFL and everyone should be given a second chance. I just didn't fancy using him myself, and I don't know how other people feel. So for me to, make a series, oh, look how good Joe Mixon did in this game, and, people are like, oh, I really hate Joe Mixon. It's just too contentious to use there. That explanation probably gives away whether or not we'll be using the Bengals, but let's move on to the next option, the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo Bills have already kind of started their own Fire Sale franchise, getting rid of some players that we might have been able to get better value for on Madden, but they've still got value. LaShawn McCoy, Richie Incognito, Marcel Darius, as you see him there. And there were some rookies I would be interested to use as well, but I don't think the rookie class is interesting enough for me. Now, we keep moving on in alphabetical order, but this is just a coincidence. The next team, the Denver Broncos. Now, of course, the Denver Broncos have insane trade value, have some pretty interesting rookies on the team as well, but the problem with the Denver Broncos is their main positive. I think they've got too much trade value. Now, I took a quick look and roughly estimated what you might be able to get for the players on that team, and I think you're looking at something like 10 first rounders, if not more. Now, 10 first round picks is absolutely ridiculous. Too much value. You're kind of cheating the game. If you do one for yourself, to be fair, this is probably the team you want to use. You'll have the most fun. But as I'm trying to, create a slightly compelling storyline for a series, making it that easy isn't the best idea. So the Denver Broncos, very good, but also have that bad. Moving on to another option, the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns, of course, are in rebuild mode. So the positives there are, guys we see here that we can trade away. There's a few of those on the team, but there's also a lot of young players on the team, a lot of rookies on the team, a lot of rookies. And again, so positive is that. The negative, just like the Broncos had a negative that was a positive, the negative for the Browns is that they've got a lot of rookies on the team, and it kind of feels like cheating. Maybe it's too easy, and it's still too easy to use the Browns for a rebuild franchise. It's still, the cliche. Now, the Chargers I thought about, but the rookies didn't interest me enough. The Chiefs I thought about, but the rookies didn't interest me enough. The Colts I thought about again, and again, the rookies didn't interest me enough. A team I thought about for a while were the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I'll be honest, I don't have a good time saying the word Jaguars, and I just couldn't have an entire series with that team. The New York Jets already beat me to the fire sale franchise. They are in the midst of it. Their highest rated player is an 88 overall. They've gotten rid of all the value. We can't even trade much away. They're in the middle of it, and we don't need to jump on that shit. Now, the Patriots were interesting. Number one problem, of course, is the fact they've basically got no rookies worth talking about because they traded away all their picks. And I know what the internet is like. I know that using the Patriots wouldn't sit well with too many people to even think about doing it. But another team I thought about were the Oakland Raiders. Now, the Oakland Raiders, for the past 3 years until last year, were my favorite franchise mode team. I loved using the Raiders. They were still in that kind of rebuilding mode, but going the right direction. Nowadays, of course, they're a top team and not so much good for franchises anymore, but would be good for a fire sale franchise because you've got the value to trade away. They've got some interesting rookies as well. I like, the defensive backs, things like that. But the problem with the Raiders for me is I would feel bad about undoing it. It would be a shame to undo all that hard work of building this team just to trade everybody away. Another option would be the Baltimore Ravens. Now, they've got trade value, but I don't know how much trade value. Of course, the Saints didn't have too much, but I feel like maybe they had a little bit more than the Ravens have got. That would be something, of course, to consider. The rookies, it is mostly on defense, and defense is the one where I like to have, some players on straight away, because offense you control a lot more than defense. You can, you choose the plays, you choose who you throw to, things like that. Defense, it's, they're throwing the ball, so you got to hope the players in the positions that you're not controlling are doing a decent job. That's why I like to be better on defense first than offense. Offense is easier to build up yourself, so there are the benefits there. The Steelers would fetch a lot of value trading away. Not too sure about the rookies for me personally this year, although there's some interesting guys there. The Texans, it would be interesting. They got the rookie quarterback. That's obviously always a nice thing, but I feel like using a rookie quarterback is a little bit of cheating, but not too much. Value, again, there's some good value there. The Tennessee Titans, the final team. Again, this is basically the same situation as the Oakland Raiders. They've got good value, they've got a young team, and that's why it'd be a shame to, get rid of a bunch of guys. So with all that talked about, it is now time to reveal which team will be the Reboot franchise. Which team will we be using? Our Reboot franchise will be the Baltimore Ravens. So the first thing we should talk about straight away is why have I picked the Baltimore Ravens to be the Reboot franchise? And basically, we had some choices here of the Bengals, the Bills, the Browns, the Broncos, the Ravens, and the Raiders. Those were 6 teams that I was truly, honestly thinking about out of the 16 we had. And out of all of those, I feel like the Ravens weren't the easiest, they weren't the hardest, they didn't have too much value like the Broncos or Raiders, and they didn't have too little value like the Bills. And then rookies were very important for me. They have an interesting draft class. Now we'll take a quick look at the team. The fact that we compare Tyus Bowser with a guy who's not here, Tim Williams, 2 rookie outside linebackers, is something I find very interesting. They've of course got Marlon Humphrey as well. We've got Chris Worley down here. We've got some interesting rookies about the place. Now something else that I found interesting, a guy that we can't see on this view, Keenan Reynolds. Keenan Reynolds was a guy I wanted to use in Fire Sale franchise. I can't remember, I think I just wasn't able to get him on the team for whatever reason, or maybe he just wasn't high enough overall or something to even be worth thinking about. But that is a guy that could be a star of this series. That is the kind of guy that this series is made for. Someone who has a lower overall or whatever, but has an interesting story and an interesting skill set that you can then use when you're not trying to use just the absolute best players in every position. So Keenan Reynolds being on this team was also part of the reason why I chose this team. So there is value on this team. I'll be interested to see just how much value, but really for me with the Ravens, it was the fact that it's kind of a perfect suitor for a reboot, and we've got nice rookies in some positions, and it's a good division. I'm very happy to be playing in this division. You've obviously got the Steelers, who are already very good, the Bengals, who are good and have got rookies that we'll see develop, the Browns that hopefully we'll see develop throughout the time of this series. It's a good division to be in. Obviously we wanted to be in the AFC, so that doesn't really make a difference. We're picking the Ravens, but I think this is a good one. Out of all the possible ones, I think the AFC North, out of the possible teams, is pretty balanced. I did want to go to the AFC West just for how tough it would be, but this one's not bad either. One final rule change that I didn't mention until now because it didn't really become relevant until now, because we will now start looking at bringing in players, getting rid of players. The big rule change for this series is we are no longer limited to players under 70 overall. We're looking at a huge difference of limiting it to players under 72 overall. So the difference here is we're going to 72 overall. Now this is actually just based on simple maths. What I did this year, which I didn't do last year, is just go and take a look at the average overall of all the players on Madden. Now I didn't include the long snapper tight ends because obviously they bring down the overall, so those guys were left out. But outside of that, everybody's overall averaged out. The average overall is 72. Well, 72.1. The point there is the average NFL player is a 72 overall. We're trying to build a team of average NFL players. We're not trying to build a team of below average because that's stupid. So we are allowing 72 overall as the maximum overall. It doesn't make a big difference, but it does allow us to bring in some guys that maybe couldn't have been in before. But the difference there as well is the fact that it allows us to bring in some guys with that slightly higher overall that might actually stick around for longer, because when you go under 70, most of the time you're actually going under 70 rather than on 70. When you're looking at 72, you're looking at 72, 71, 70. You're bringing in some more slightly better players. That is my thought process behind that as well. So that is everybody that is over a 72 overall added to the trade block. Now we will advance the week and hopefully have a lot of offers to look through. And I just learned a very hard lesson. At least we learned it quickly. Got to turn injuries off when we sim through the preseason, because now a guy we wanted to trade away is going to be stuck on our roster until we can cut him. Now we've got 3 offers for first round picks, all of them 2019, so that of course is next year. Jets, Bills and Redskins. Now the Jets, I think, especially with their Madden overalls, will probably do the worst out of all of these teams, and they're the only team that offered us a 6th rounder instead of a 7th rounder, so we'll accept this one. So for Tony Jefferson, we were only being offered 2nd round picks, which is a bit of a shame. At an 87 overall, I was expecting slightly better. Now, I went for one that was offering us a 2018 2nd round pick, and I couldn't, I couldn't ignore the irony of the Arizona Cardinals offering us a 2nd round pick for a guy that we signed from them in free agency. So we're going to give him back to the Cardinals. They clearly realized how much they miss him. It was either them or the Broncos. So we've got an offer of a 1st round pick for CJ Mosley from the Colts. Now the Colts really need him. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a manual trade and see if they maybe want to make that a 2018 1st round pick. And there's a quick lesson in negotiation. Never take a team's first offer. They were offering us just the 1st round pick in 2019. We picked ourselves up a 4th rounder. as well. So I think we've got a formula. Anyone that offers just a first rounder will gladly give you a 4th round pick as well. So again, now Eric Weddle will be playing for the Bills, and we'll have another first round pick in the 2019 draft. Not picked up much for the 2018 draft yet. The Falcons are in win now mode, so we gave them a win now right guard for a first round pick. So we got ourselves a bunch of first rounders and a bunch of draft value for 2019. Now a similar thing happened in the last one. We had to trade up in the first draft to be able to get a player we wanted because we didn't have many high picks. If that's the same situation, we may have to do something again, but we're picking up good value right now. Let's move on to the next week. We'll go through this week and then we'll start looking and bringing players in as well. So the Vikings coming in strong with the offer of a first round pick, which of course will turn into a first and a 4th rounder at the very least. So Ronnie Stanley for a 1st and 4th rounder. I was trying to get a player off them as well, but I would have had to drop it to, I believe, a 6th round pick, and I'd rather have the 4th rounder and use a 6th round pick or something to pick up that guy. They may even cut him, so I wasn't going to take the risk. The Texans offering all sorts for Ladarius Webb that we're not going to turn down, a 2nd, 5th, and 7th rounder. Well, they were offering us a 2nd round pick in the 2019 draft, a 5th round in the 2018 draft, and a 7th round pick. I turned that into a 4th round in the 2019 draft, got ourselves better value for the future. This is why we wanted rookies on the team. Come with me, everyone. I will teach you the art of wheeling and dealing. If someone offers you a 2018 2nd round pick, go and have a look at their 2019 1st round pick. And there we go, another 1st round pick won, because teams will always go 1 round higher for 1 year later. So if they offer you right off the bat a 2018 pick, if you want a better pick, drop it back a year and you get a round earlier. Now, really, we should still be looking for some 2018 value here, but if we can get 1st round picks, I don't care what year it is. It can be 2070. I will take the 1st round pick. So I'm cycling through the picks thinking everyone's offering 2nd rounders when Arizona come in with a 1st round pick. I didn't think the Ravens had this much value, but people love their players. Now, Terrell Suggs, I'm sad to have to trade away. I'm even sadder when the only team offering anything are the New Orleans Saints for a player we can't have and a bunch of stupid draft picks. Let's see if David Onyemata, who we already had on the team, so we can't even have him from the overall, point. We can't even have him on the team because he's already been in our fire sale franchise. So it's a double negative. So we're going to have to look if the Saints are willing to give us something here instead of David Onyemata, or maybe instead of one of those 5th round picks. Can we pick up a 2018 2nd rounder and a 2019 5th rounder? This one was a tough one, and I feel bad about it. We trade away Terrell Suggs, T-Sizzle, for only a 2019 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick, but it had to be done. So we're going to advance 1 more week now before doing anything else, because we can pick up all of our players at a week's notice, as in straight away immediately. So let's do it 1 more, get some more value here hopefully, then look at actually building our roster. So we're going to cut 12 players today, and we've only got 2 more guys to trade away, so we're going to have to look at those guys that nobody wants and maybe just have to cut them, in all honesty, because this is the last offers we're getting here, and we can't keep them on the roster for the 1st week of the regular season. That would be cheating, keeping them for a while and just trying to trade them away. Joe Flacco apparently nobody wants. We'll try and manually trade him away. Never mind, I think we've reached our pick cap, which means we're going to have to, get rid of some of our picks, which means time to pick up some players. So the first player we will be signing is Wendell Smallwood at running back. Now this guy could be a do-it-all guy, but we've also got another guy who's then pure speed, if you will, that we'll also be looking for. But Wendell Smallwood, one of the reasons I'm happy we can go to 72 overall, because we can pick him up at a 71. The next guy we will be stealing off another team's practice squad is TJ Logan of the Cardinals, 93 speed, 90 acceleration. This guy will be more of our speed guy, a little bit better at receiving as well than Wendell Smallwood, so that'll be our option in that regard. So here's a guy, this happens every time. Someone will suddenly appear as an available free agent. Juju Smith-Schuster has been cut by the Steelers and is here for us to pick him up. And what kind of revenge story would it be when the division rivals pick him up and he can beat that team? He's obviously got some flaws, but everyone we're going to pick up has some flaws. So let's pick up Juju Smith-Schuster as kind of an audible pick here. Next up to sign is Jakeem Grant. Now, Jakeem Grant, I think, his only problem is awareness. Take a look at some of these numbers. 96, 95 for speed, 78 route running, 80 catching, 87 jumping, but he is tiny. But those are good numbers. 51 awareness is dragging that down. I think this player is a lot better than he looks with his overall. Our next wide receiver will be Chad Hansen. Chad Hansen is made for this team. One scholarship offer coming out of high school, goes and plays for Idaho State, and then transfers to Cal, turns into one of the nation's better receivers, is drafted in the 4th round and then just put on the practice squad, but not today, Chad Hansen. You will join our active roster. Reed Fragel is a guy I wanted at left tackle. Of all the guys I had down, is actually the one I wanted the least. At center, we're going to pick up a guy who is a free agent, mainly due to circumstance, at least in my opinion. Hronis Grasu finished the 2015 season as the Bears starter at center, and it was looking promising, you know, going into the next season with him there. People were pretty optimistic. Then he got injured, missed the entire 2016 season. Cody Whitehair came in and stole his job. At right guard, a guy we probably will have as a backup because there's another guy we would like as well. But Chris Reed is there for us in the free agency pool right now to sign. Let's quickly talk about an example of Madden being absolutely stupid sometimes. The Arizona Cardinals have apparently cut Hassan Reddick. Luckily for us, another guy they decided to cut was Xavier Gooden, a guy I'm interested in, a little bit older at 4 years experience than we usually, you know, try to look for here. Now, there's nothing too great about him, but he's fast and he can hit, and that's what we like. So another snipe off the practice squad is going to be Jalen Myrick. He is an absolute speed beast, so we're going to be happy to have him on the team. DeAndre Hall is going to be another practice squad snipe. This is a guy I wanted to pick up last year and basically forgot to do it, and I'm happy I forgot to do it. Of course, we had players we're happy with anyway, but, you know, the speed isn't incredible for a cornerback, but he's got good traits. I think he could be good. Obviously, he won't probably have to be a starter. I'm interested to see how he will do for us. And one last guy we're going to steal from a practice squad. We may end up stealing someone else as well, but they're not here at the moment. We'll take Kevin Seymour, and then we've got one more cornerback, and we're done. Free safety, going for another Minnesota defensive back. So we just took Jalen Myrick. This time, we're going for Eric Murray. I think he's an interesting looking free safety. And then we're going to go for Eric Pinkins. Now, this guy, a free safety here, was a linebacker before, so this guy could be very interesting, and I think it's a guy we need to have on the team. And then at strong safety, we've got an odd situation here. So Terrence Brooks was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in the 3rd round in 2014, then went to the Philadelphia Eagles after being cut. He was then traded to the New York Jets in exchange for Dexter McDougal, and then has just been cut now. So he's here for us to take back again, and maybe this can be his redemption season. So we've now just signed 15 new players. Of course, that's not the team finished yet. So let's hit them right where they want it. They want a defensive tackle. They want a right end. Both of these guys we can't hang on to. And to be fair, this defensive tackle randomly appeared on my team. I was going through the transactions to, you know, figure out who I had signed because I forgot to tick it off as I went along. And this guy apparently was randomly signed at one point. I didn't do it. Let's see if they'll take these 2 players for Chad Kelly. Maybe more than he's worth, but literally if we don't trade them away, we're going to cut them. Unsurprisingly, they went for it. We've got Mr. Irrelevant on the team. What we just did is dump 2 injured players onto the Bengals that we couldn't get rid of. We couldn't get rid of Danny Woodhead for 7 weeks. Tavon Young will be on our team for an entire season. Instead, now what we get is a player we wanted. And we just did a straight player swap. Ryan Jensen goes over to the Browns, and we get Seth Deval. And so we managed to get a deal done there. Ben Watson for Filer, and we swap a 2019 6th round pick for a 2018 7th round pick. Basically, we just had to do something to get this trade done. We're staying in the division. We want Westerman. Will they take Austin Howard? I don't think so. Well, I was wrong. They will take a straight swap. Thanks for that. That was way more expensive than it should have been, but we got to get rid of picks, and luckily we've got a lot. So we just traded Brandon Carr and Crockett Gilmore, who needs to go on injured reserve, to the Titans for D'Angelo Brown, who will be our nose tackle, and I'm pretty happy about it. So we just traded a 5th round pick for the Seahawks' DJ Alexander, who they obviously only just picked up from the Chiefs, who they traded Kevin Pierre-Louis for. So technically, we've got this season's Kevin Pierre-Louis because clearly the Seahawks thought that was a straight swap. We pick up DJ Alexander. Welcome to Madden 18's Kevin Pierre-Louis in DJ Alexander, who we're going to try and make a middle linebacker. Now, he is an outside linebacker. We'll have to see what works. We should be able to pick up some draft picks now. I think it's a bit risky taking the one with 3. Let's try the Colts. Let's bet that the Colts won't do too well. We'll just take the 1 pick because we don't need, at the end of the day, more 6th and 7th rounders. So we managed to offload Joe Flacco for a 2nd round pick. We send him to the Jets. A great trade here with the Chiefs. We send Michael Pierce. They really needed a left end. a 7th round pick in 2019 for a 2nd round pick in 2018. And to the Colts, we send a package deal of Terrence West, who can actually play right now, and we get rid of another guy who would have just been sat on our injured reserve in Kenneth Dixon, and we get another 2018 2nd round pick for it. So we pick up Lorenzo Doss for Ryan Mallett and a 4th round pick in 2018. Now it may seem expensive, but I want Doss to be my number 2 cornerback across from Marlon Humphrey. So it was important that, I was happy to pay more for him. I wouldn't have gone for a 3rd rounder, I don't think. 4th, I'm happy because I do expect him to be a starter. He's very good. It's just his press that's not great. We can work on that. It's relatively cheap to upgrade to a decent level. I think he can be very good. And the final player we'll be picking up will be Jeff Janis in exchange for Anthony Levine and a 7th rounder. Not bad whatsoever. Jeff Janis, I think, can be a big part of this team as well. That finishes off the wide receivers. It finishes off everything. We have our team complete. So that is everything done. I'm not entirely sure how I ended up presenting everything that happened, but let's go over the final team so we make sure that everybody knows everybody that is here. So let's start with our quarterback. Chad Kelly will be our starter. Mr. Irrelevant. It's perfect for this series. Behind him, Mike Bercovici off of undrafted fame. Then our running backs, Wendell Smallwood will be the starter. TJ Logan behind him and the 3rd down running back. Ricky Ortiz, the rookie fullback, remains our fullback. Then our wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster, who were able to get a bit of a surprise addition, will be our number 1 wide receiver going over to the X position. Jeff Janis will be our other guy there on the other side. We tend to actually go to the right side more. Jeff Janis is my preferred number 1 receiver in that regard. Then we've got Jakeem Grant in the slot position. He's small, he should live and thrive there. He's got good route running as well, which is, I've always said, is better for that inside position where you do run more, in my opinion, at least from the plays I select. And then behind them, we've got Keenan Reynolds, I'm excited to use. We've picked up Tommy Lee Lewis as well, who behind Jakeem Grant, we've got 2 5'7" guys there. And then we've got Chad Hansen there on the other side as well. On the offensive line, Filer, our left tackle. Illuminor, our rookie, is our left guard. Grassu, the center. Westerman, the right guard. And Painter, the right tackle. On the offensive line, the backups are a little bit, kind of whatever-ish. The tight ends, CJ Azuma is going to be our starting tight end. Behind him, Seth DeValve. And then we just kept Waller on the team behind him. And then we move on to the defense, where we've been able to keep a few guys as well. So we've got Eric Murray, free safety. Behind him, the rookie Clark. Then we've got Tim Williams, the rookie at right outside linebacker. DJ Alexander will be backing up all of the linebacker positions. We're giving him that Kevin Pierre-Louis chance to be very useful to us in a lot of different positions. Middle linebacker, Xavier Gooden and Grugia Hill. They should be good. They're fast. They can both hit. They should be good linebackers, at least for this season. Coverage probably might let us down a little bit, as it always does with lower rated guys. And then Tyus Bowser on the other side. Can't wait to have these two as a pass rushing pair for years to come. That's why it's so fun to keep the rookies as well. Terrence Brooks, who we brought back, will be strong safety. Eric Pinkins will be backing up there. A linebacker playing strong safety probably isn't a bad matchup. And then we move on to the defensive line. Brett Urban we managed to keep. Then we've got D'Angelo Brown at the nose tackle position. And Chris Wormley at the left end, another rookie again. And then our final rookie here, Marlon Humphrey, 77 overall, staying there at the number 1 cornerback position. Across from him, Lorenzo Doss, who's got nice stats. Then we've got Jalen Myrick in the number 3 position, so he'll be in the nickel. Then we've got D'Angelo Hall and Kevin Seymour. I'm pretty happy with this team. Moving on to the specialists, I don't know if I mentioned this, kind of learning from the last one. It's exactly what we did anyway. Kickers and punters just stay on the team. We might not re-sign them, that'll be the rule there in that regard, but kickers and punters stay on the team. And then Jakeem Grant will be returning kicks. TJ Logan behind him, and our 3rd down running back, as I said, will be TJ Logan. But it should be a lot of fun, and within the next episode, we'll be playing the Cincinnati Bengals to kick off the 2017 season. This is the Reboot franchise.